warrior's mindset is about conditioning the mind, body, and spirit. It takes practice, commitment, vision, goal setting, determination, sharp focus, respect, and discipline. Once you learn it, you can apply it to all aspects of your life. The warrior's mindset prepares you for the largest competition ever, the competition against self.
Welcome, everybody, to the Warrior's Mindset. Willie the Bam Johnson here. Once again, we're glad you joined in. It's all about uplifting from the mind, from the body, from the spirit. You know, we all are out there struggling with something. Sometimes, most of the time, those struggles are from within. But the Warrior's Mindset kind of like give us that little blessing, man, from from the outside in, so we can be able to move from the inside out. And what I want to do is open with a prayer. We always do the serenity prayer. So I just want to put a prayer out there, because prayer to me is really, really important. So God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. One of the principles that we know in the warrior mindset is really important is about really unity, coming together, really trying to create a brotherhood, a fellowship of like-minded individuals so we can really move forward as a team, as a family, as a collective. You know, it's kind of hard to find an I in team. You know, it got to be us, we, all together so we can make a major impact for our families as well as for our community. I'm honored today to have a guest on the podcast. I just got to hit something up. When in my days of competing, man, when I came home from incarceration and I was so lost trying to find that way to move forward, I used to always listen to the conscious raps. You know, I know over time they did like went all into the gangsterism, and I got to say that term. That's my made up term, but it was conscious stuff. And brothers that was spitting, some real powerful lyrics, and one of them that I used to listen to all the time when I was competing was Shyheim, the rugged child. Man, and to be able to connect with this brother and even be able to have him on the show. And I feel like there's some type of brotherhood that's happening. I am just on it. If you don't know, you need to check so you can find out so you do know. He is a legend when it comes down to, just music and culture, man. He was one of the pioneers, young ones at the beginning. Shy, what's up, my brother?
Peace, Willie Ben. What's up, big bro? How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm blessed, brother. I'm blessed, man. Once again, I'm just honored. I got it, bro. It's getting hot here because I'm talking to you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man. Respect, man. Likewise, man. You're very inspirational. You're definitely a testament that if you put your mind to it, you could do it. That warrior's mindset that you were speaking about earlier. And it's very important, man. And you showcase that, and you gave brothers like myself who watch you from a distance was able to see what you did and said, "Hey, man, it's not over. There is a recovery in this thing. There is a comeback." And and yeah, man. So yeah, we here. Yep.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. So for the younger ones, like man, like my son, these kids out here that's at that age trying to, just trying to find themselves. Give them an introduction on you, sir. Talk about you.
All right. Well, I'll just take you back as far as I can go real quick, right? I'm an only child, um, by teenage parents. My mom and pops had me at 16 years old. At that time, my pops went away to state prison. And my grandparents raised me. You know what I mean? He raised me till I was about 10 years old. So my grandmother died. And at that time in life, that's when the family dynamics really broke up, right? As far as I can remember. And everybody was just like, go where you go type thing. And then it was then began me and my mom's journey, and me and my mom's journey was special, you know. It was just me and her, and I remember living in like, they used to have, I'm sure they still have them now, but like room in the houses. So where it's like everybody has their room, but you got to like share the bathroom and the kitchen, right? But in this environment, the people who live there, unfortunately, are substance abuse users and people just trying to make their way, or some just struggling, right? So I had all these people that would always talk to me and things like that. So that's how I was able to, I guess, be beyond my years. Some people would say, like, this kid knows a lot beyond his years because of those environments. And then I became a rapper, right? I had a talent that, you know, that I would like to say was just born with it, right? Because some things you do because you like to do it. And then there's other things you just have to do. Like I'm incomplete without doing it. And I've learned that throughout the years. We'll get to that part. But so I came up, Staten Island, young dude rapping. I met Mercury from the Foursome D's who grew up with my mom. He would then let me rap at like his parties he would go. He would bring like the Zoo Nation, Chuck Terrell, King Son, Cypress Hills, Naughty by Nature. So I had an opportunity to meet these people before getting a record deal myself, right? So it kind of every time I see those people, it's like a special moment. And tons of other God bless the soul, Granddaddy IU, and hip hop was very different then. The game was very different. If you had talent and you was just dope, you got a shot, right? It wasn't so much of the business end, and because nobody really probably knew business at that end, right? Nobody was set in stone like, yo, this is what it is, and this is what marketing is, and this is what it is. You didn't know. You was just doing what you loved, and so was I. And from then, I became like a neighborhood sensation. Yo, you heard the rugged child rap, the rugged child, right? Because I before then I was just known as like the rugged child. I would pack bags at the supermarket. We used to steal newspaper and go door to door, advance, advance, to the old people that didn't want to walk to the store. So, I had my little hustles, and then it was like by the age of 13, um, I was already working with R&S, the RZA, who was Prince Rakeem, who was the RZA. Me and his brother, we was in first grade together. So his family and me and his brother we like thick as thieves, right? So still to this day. So that's how my connection to the RZA, which would be the Wu-Tang, as well as it being a neighborhood thing. But outside of being a neighborhood thing, you know what I'm saying? Like I was in the household when, you know what I'm saying, the turntables or early from the beginning. Um, and then I got my record deal through with R&S because R&S was a producer that lived in my projects, and he had produced like the UMCs. And I used to be like, let me get a beat. Let me get a beat, right? Like I was just that kid, right? I would go get my tapes and like notebooks. And at this time, it wasn't the thing to be doing as a kid, right? Around the early 90s, my friends wanted to be drug dealers. They wanted to be drug dealers. They wanted to be basketball players. Like rapping was corny. Oh, y'all there with that rapping stuff, right? So I was always into it. But I got a record deal. And after that, I became I would say celebrity. I became notoriety, and that's when life changed.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. I mean, the, what I see as a kid growing up, in an environment like the projects, be it Bmore, be it New York, whatever, to stay focused, man, on something you love and you feel in your soul. Like for me, it was martial arts. For you, it was rapping, brother. You had to be a warrior. You had to be focused. I mean, for a kid, not trying to be distracted by all these other things at such a grassroots level. I mean, you at the early beginning. What did it take for you, Shaw, to just stay focused at that point in time before all this other chaotic stuff came about? To stay focused on your art and what you felt in your soul, brother.
I believe it was a mixture of things. I believe that I was impressed by the older people that was doing it. Like I looked up to the dudes with the BMWs and the gold chains and the rapper, and I was just like, how do I get that? Right? I was always inquisitive. I asked a million questions. Yo, why you get that? And why you get that? Right? I was that kid, right? And I think the isolation made it that way, right? Because what I was dealing with in real life, like my mom's give and take on any day was ripping and running the streets getting hot, right? Um, so I didn't have curfew. I didn't have the structure.
Yeah.
Outside kind of raised me. So the focus was just doing everything that everybody was doing. I was like kind of not to say a follower, but it was that like, oh, everybody at the studio. Oh, I'm going up in the studio. It was a safe haven for me. It was a safe place where I had older dudes that looked out for me, like Armin Ness, Pop the Brown Hornet, GP, KD, Raheem. Go all the dudes was big brothers. They looked out at a time for me. You know what I'm saying? Whether they knew it or not, I would watch them and be like, oh, that's how you do it, right? Going on that level. Then I had a raw street parent. So at the same time, I was privy to a lot of things. Like my mother taught me how to cook up cocaine. You know what I'm saying? Because my mother always instilled in me, she said, know how to cook. Don't try these women to kick you out, right? She was like, yo, and shoot for the stars. But always remember, the streets is here for you. It's never gonna go nowhere. So you can reach for the stars. This ain't going nowhere, baby. But if you have to come back, know how to survive here. Because this is what makes it move here. See, over there, this is what makes it move over here. Whether you like it or not, this is what it is. And that's how I was able to deal with her addiction a little different. Cause she said, yo, I do it because I want to do it. And I'm gonna stop when I'm ready. Right. You don't know these things as you grow older, but that's the truth.
But you giving me chills, bro. Because I mean, back then, that individuals at that time, people don't understand on the outside. They say, do what I say, not what I do. I believe they didn't have the strength, bro. I'm getting emotional about this because I experienced it. It's like, I think about my dad for the things that he had to go through and the sacrifices he had to make. He said, stay in school. You know what I'm saying? Learn to work, learn to bag them bags, learn to find a hustle. He ain't say, he said, look, if you have to do it, remember there's consequences for the bad side. Are we on the same path, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's consequences for this bad stuff. But what I'm telling you, don't choose that path because I don't want you to deal with those consequences. So it just seems like when you were saying how, bro, you mentioned King's son. You're talking about brothers that, come on, man, I love some. You talking conscious brothers spitting knowledge in your subliminal, and at a young age, we didn't even realize what that was going to do when the chaos came. But don't you feel so blessed that to be around brothers and sisters and parents that they probably couldn't walk the walk because of circumstances, but they said what we needed to say, like your rap in the subliminal. Talk to me, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, the music, right? That was a reflection really of what I was going through and what I was seeing.
Yeah, yeah,
I've learned from it, and it's easy, right, to say like some people said, "Oh, your mother and your father went through this and went through that." Like, how do you go there, right?
yeah, yeah,
Because it's I don't like to say it's definitely a mindset, right? I didn't get it until I didn't get it no more, until it didn't make sense no more. But when you going through it, it's like, yo, I went through my trials. I watched my parents be on drugs and then get on drugs, right?
yeah,
Because again, being impressionable, right? Being outside, then you get the money, then you get the women, then you get all this that start coming in, right? And you think as a kid, you just think it's all one thing. I thought the whole industry was my family. I thought these was my people that no matter what happens, would be there for me. And that wasn't necessarily the case, right? So yeah, they may have passed me a blunt, they may have passed me a 40, they may have gave me an E-pill. But when I got sick and I couldn't control it and my life got out of control, um, I had to fix myself. And that's one thing I learned too. No one can give it to you. And I used to hear that a lot. Yo, I wish I could just give you this. I wish I could just give you this. But you have to go through your evolutionary process
yeah,
in order to get the tools that you need to move forward in your future. You know what I mean? And
yeah, yeah,
it definitely was hard, substance abuse. My mother overdosed, you know what I'm saying? In '09. At that point, I really went out of spiral, right? Because it gives you something to fight for. As that little kid, I was fighting to get my mom that house. I was fighting to get my mom out the hood, right? But then when I lost her, it was like, what I fight for? Yeah, I had just became a new father, right? I had my daughter, but she was new, right, in real life, right? So I was just like, oh, my mom's, it was just over. And with that, with wanting the spotlight, with wanting the fame and wanting to keep up the image of having this, right? I didn't know how to deal with not with the celebrity. So it's like it became hard to go outside every day and be recognized as the celebrity, but your heart and your confidence and your pockets is empty and you trying to play the role and it just don't feel good. So then you take risks. And I started to take risks like everybody else. I started to do things that I thought was me, but wasn't with me. I never was no drug dealer. I never was no street person like that. But then I became that, really trying to survive.
But Shy, the thing you said, brother, that's why we more like than different. When you say you did what you had to do to get your mom that house. That's me, brother. That's what martial arts was. I wanted to offer welfare. People don't understand what we see day to day when we see people, laughing about you, talking about your parents behind your back. You a little kid that gotta be a man at a young age. That's what people don't realize,
I
right,
think,
man?
yo, there's this beautiful video going on online, right? And it happened to be from my neighborhood. I had to go check the dude. So what he does is he has a grocery store, like a corner store, and he rewards the kids with their report card and the progress of it, right? So he gives them like $100, right? So I wanted to drop a tear, right? Because he tells them, yo, you can get anything you want in the store, and I'm gonna give you $100, right? Because you did good. He raised his grades up. He's 90, bow, right? So when that kid went and got milk, bread, eggs, I wanted to cry because that's what I did with my money when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? I used to like, yo, oh, I gotta get milk, I gotta get this for the house. Cause other than that, my refrigerator looked like water and baking soda, bro. To be honest with you, right? And then you get all these things, and then you get all these friends, and then you get all these people that look you in your eye and they love you. But action speaks louder than words, right? Right? But I also, it's like to me, it becomes just a learning experience. You have to learn. If you don't have these experiences, you don't learn. And now I started looking at it as a blessing because more things get thrown at me, more things get. And I look at it like, what do I have to learn from this lesson that I need to share with people? And that's my day to day.
A- And I think what you said right there, what do we learn? Because I even hit on the thing when you said you lost your mom. I know for me, at the highest of my, the moment my mom had died, I supposed to have been in New York on the front cover of my first karate magazine. But instead, I decided to go to the club, and do what I normally do because I didn't want to face the reality that she was leaving. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's once again where I think when that generation, we were taught to not cry, keep it inside. You know what I'm saying? Be a man. Now we understand. Like you got me teary eyed over here just talking about this now, brother. Real men do cry, and why did I have to go to jail to learn that? Real men do cry. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, brother, you know what I'm saying? It's you and God. Don't let nothing come between you and God. And I say today that I believe my mom had to go for me to grow up and be a man.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I understand that today. I didn't understand that when that happened. So when I went off the edge, just like you talking about, come on, your superhero is done. What
Yeah.
else is it? You know what I'm saying? And you can feel like so many people going through like, what is it for me? What do I do? They can't even handle some of the basic things that happen today. What would you say, Shao? What did you do? I mean, in your own as a young man going through that dark moment, and you could have kept on going down that path, but instead you decide to pop your collar, stand up, and do what was necessary. What was the basic? If you had three things that you did on a regular basis just to find yourself in the chaos, brother, what were they, bruh?
Well, one thing that saved my life was the Department of Corrections.
Yeah, yeah.
That saved my life because after my mom died, like I was explaining a little earlier, I started to be everything that I wasn't. I was in a dark space. I was selling the same drugs that killed my mother. You know what I'm saying? I was taking pills,
Mm.
smoking PCP. You know what I'm saying? I'm out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting caught in raids. Next thing you know, I become I get in an accident and I kill somebody. I take someone's life. And when I went to prison, I was still the type of person. I was still it did, and I'm ashamed to even say this that I didn't see the big deal. I was like, what I do? I didn't mean it. I didn't, right? And it's like, that is so not the answer, right? You don't understand it till you go through it, right?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
now today I realize I was already in that situation way before the day happened. It was just the things that led up to it. You know what I'm saying? And led up to it and led up to it. And through it all, I really believe the answer was self-love and self-care. I somewhere along the way, I stopped loving myself. Because when you love yourself, you don't put yourself places, you don't do certain things because you love yourself. So somewhere in that journey, I stopped loving myself. And when I got to prison, I started loving myself again. The first thing I want to do is work down, get my head.
Yeah.
When I was ripping and running, I didn't care about none of that. I didn't even care about that. I was on to the next one, yo, because the days was going like this, and next thing you know, my hygiene is bad. People pulling away from me, right? And I keep that in mind on the back end of that of my recovery process because you don't know how you offended people. Some people
Mhm,
never get over it. Some people
mhm,
are, it's just what it is. And all you could do is correct your errors for you and move forward, man, and don't look back.
Hope you're enjoying the show. Want to tell you about something that's dear to my heart. My book, The Warrior's Mindset Daily Devotions. Pick up your copy by hitting the link below. Remember, if your principles are negotiable, you don't have principles. Be the warrior from the inside out. I mean, when you hit shot, when you think about you at the highest level. When I think about that too, brother, going through that, being the world champion, because I was even the world champion before I got locked up. Went to China before I got
Yeah,
locked up.
yeah.
So I see the celebrity stage. You know
So
what I'm saying?
your prison is different. I tell you, everybody, my prison was different from the ever. It's like you become everybody's in prison because they did what they shouldn't do, right? But
Yeah,
then you
yeah,
the guy that really did fucked up because you was on the Olympic. You really fucked up. He's a fuck at that at all. Look at him, right? Now you got this whole thing on you with the light on you. What is he gonna do? Yo, I remember this, right? I remember the newspaper headline, right? It said, rapper will be rapping behind bars for the foreseeable future. Shyheim Franklin sends up to 14 years, right? I read that. I said, what? But I'm gonna show you better than that. That's
yeah, yeah,
the end of my story. And the hurting part is after you dig it out the mud, and I like to say myself, but I know it wasn't me, right? Because I remember I will get to that. I remember when I asked, right? And because I studied different things, 5% of yo, we the God and all this, right? But I had a weak part in my life. So I must share my testimony in it, right?
yeah,
And I remember I never forget it. It was June 2020, 2015. I'm in Clinton Correctional Facility. David Sweat and Richard Matt just escaped. It's full alarm prison, right? Max 8, 2 guys escaped. It's real, And I wanted to go home. I broke, man. I put my sheet up and I cried those silent cries. 'Cause you can't do none of that. They just got to
yeah,
fall.
yeah,
It's what I'm
yeah,
saying. They just fall. I'm just, the TV up. I'm trying to, and I was like, yo, God, if you real, come into my life. Come
mm,
inside me. Give me the words to say. Put the people in my life that I need, right? And give me my life back. And I promise you, any chance I get, I'm gonna tell people you're real. You know what I mean? Not that you're real outside of me, but you're within me. And that voice that I hear now, I know who it is because I hear it.
yeah. You know, Sha, when you say that, brother, April 29th, 1989, locked in Patuxent Institute. Claustrophobic, brother. It's real now. I want to take the sheet and hang myself. And bro, I'm getting chills right now. Something just said, no, you more than that. And I dropped on my hands and my knees and I said, God, if you give me another chance right now, I will use martial arts to serve you for the rest of my life. That's why God brought me and you together. Because you know what I can say right now? I hope that I can meet brothers just like me where we can create a fellowship and go out and make sure kids that when we were young, nobody told us, nobody was there. Even when you at the highest level of success, everybody was, I got used to work the term pimping you for your skill and your talent. Wasn't nobody trying to love you and say, look, Shy, don't do this. Look, Shy, don't do that. They knew that you was doing bad stuff. And I'm saying that for me.
Yeah.
But nobody never told me that. It's like, rather than telling me what I needed to hear, you telling me what you want me to hear so I can keep benefiting you with the money, the fame, and the recognition. Talk to me, brother.
Out, right? So in their defense, right? I used to have these two managers, right? And people always say this, right? I had two managers, Virgin Records, everything beautiful, right? And then it's like, yo, come work with your brother, right? When I was working with the so-called white man and so-called Caucasian, things ran a certain way.
Yeah.
Brothers got in position, decided to make another decision to work with my brothers, right? But what happened in the mix of that, my management was saying that's not a good idea, right? So at the same time, what happens in business when someone wants you and they're trying to get you, they'll block your stuff and then be in your other ear, like, what's going on, man? What are they doing for you? So I'm saying to them, yo, come on, man, I could be on the tour with the clan. I could be doing everything. Y'all messing it up. Sign the deal. Let's do the deal. And they like, yo, Shy, I don't think it's the right thing to do. You don't have to do that. You right here already. You could do your own thing. You've been doing your own thing. Why? Da, 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 right? So me being immature, right? Me being a kid, I want to be with I want to be with everybody. I want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I made that poor decision. And it turned out to be not the greatest experience, right? But I've learned from it, right? So when I spoke to those gentlemen, yes, when I go back cleaning my slate, I said that's cleaning my slate. I try to go back to everybody that I might have had a situation with and just be like, yo, look how I've grown in this situation. From the last time, and then we could be cool from here as long because that's how I am. If I have a disagreement or something with somebody and then we separate, when we come back together, if you grown from that, then I can mess with you. But if I see you still in the same spot, I'm gonna keep it pushing. So yeah, I said to him, I was like, yo, I respect why y'all left. I see the chaos which y'all left from.
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
what I don't respect is that you let me go by myself. You're supposed to go with me. Let us make the mistake together because I needed you there when I fell on my face and you knew I would fall on my face. So you just let me go because your interest was the rugged child. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
If,
Yeah.
brother, if I know you're going to fall off the building, all right, listen, bro, you're going to fall off the building. I'm telling you, you're going to fall off the building. But I'm going to go with you while you fall, bro. When we on the ground, told you, stupid, we on the ground, our head
Yeah.
busted
Yeah.
up. You know what I'm saying? When we getting locked up, don't yell in front of the police. Yo, see, you do this all the time. Wait till we get out, and then we get home and you curse me out. Don't
Yeah.
curse me out in front of the people. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
But what you bring right there, Shy, goes right back to that like you said, that moment when you put that sheet up and you had to cry. It goes back right to that moment when I dropped down and chose life over death.
yeah.
At that moment, that light came on, brother, and you realize that in jail it was you and God, because you can't turn to nobody else. You know what I'm saying? You can't turn to nobody else. You got to find your own
You,
mindset, your warrior mindset in your zone.
yeah, you know
Look,
what they used
bruh, I ain't go to no day room. When I was in the day room and people started fussing about the young and the restless, I was gone, bruh.
bro.
I'm back.
I was the same. Yo, people used to do. There's gonna be dudes, right, that watch this, that was with me, right, and you're gonna see them. They used to have to drag me to deep. I had no interest, right. All I wanted to do, and then and this is how the rugged road to recovery started. So it actually started in prison, and I tell people my rugged road to recovery started the day I got locked up, not when I got out, right.
Yeah,
So when
yeah.
I got in there, they sent me this is my second bit, right? So the first time I went to little cookie cutters, right? But I thought I was in prison. I did a state bid. I was thing, right? Cool. But that second time, I went behind the wall. Behind the wall. Two gates, fence barbed wires, and the brick wall, right? Max AA, Maxi Max. That's what they call Max. And the thing brothers used to always say, you only got one DIN number. That's it. My number's my number. Your number's your number. Don't worry about what the fuck I'm doing.
That's
And
right.
I mean, you hear stories, yo, when you get there, don't look in nobody's cell, walk straight.
Yeah, that's
Right?
right. That's right. Yeah, yeah.
So my first night, man, in Clinton Correctional Facility. I never, and it's always good. This is another thing I learned. Be careful how you treat people. You never know where you're gonna see them or need them. So
Right.
I'm up in Clinton, Max A. I'm coming down the corridor, going to my cell. Of course, they put me in the last cell, so I had to walk all the way down. It's 3 tiers on one side.
Yeah,
Dudes
yeah.
is yelling, you hear music blasting, I'm smelling weed. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I never been in a Max A before. So I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
walking. Now I start hearing, yo, Shyheim, yo, Shy, yo. So now I'm like, oh, snap, who's here? Make a long story short, dudes start coming up to my cell. Yo, here's a TV. Yo, this is from such and such. I said, yo, I'm not taking it. I don't know who that is.
yeah,
But
yeah,
to make a
yeah,
long story short again, it ended up being one of my friend's boys, right? And I had a show one time, and my boy was like, yo, you mind I bring my boy out? I'm like, yeah, nah, bring him out. So he bring his boy after we went to VIP, hooked him up with their bottles, whatever, whatever. That same night, dude goes back to his neighborhood, gets in some trouble. He catches a murder. He's gone. That was his last night partying. I'm coming in and he's like, yo, people wouldn't believe I told this story 80 million times how I was chilling with you that night, bro. Yo, that was the best night of my life. Yo, I didn't have nothing. You know how you leave like a reception, so all you got is state issue clothing. You don't
yeah,
have
yeah,
no
that's
no
it.
no
Yeah,
no boots, no nothing. Yo, that brother gave me polo shirts, boots, right? And and that was the journey. And then that night I was drinking some hoosh, smoking a blunt, and I was like, "Yo, it ain't that bad." It was the party scene, and then
right, right.
because I wasn't clean yet, so I was still. I'm with it. I'm like, "Oh, this is where
Yeah,
where
yeah,
I should
yeah,
be." Right? It's a party until you realize you're around dangerous men,
yeah.
people that's never gonna get another shot at life. I have friends that never come home again.
Mhm.
Never, ever, 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 right? And all because of like what they call that instant gratification. All of them. Short stories. Yo, I went near the grab just for the weed. Things went wrong, pal. Got murder one. Natural life. Boy, how much you walked out of? Yo, bro, you wouldn't believe what we got. How much? An ounce. An ounce. And
Yeah,
$40.
yeah,
What? You hear this?
yeah.
Yo, yo. I know you know, but people would be surprised the stories you hear and what people go through. You know what I mean? And it made me do this right because I'm writing things, my play and things like that. And I was talking to a potential director. And I was like, yo, when I release my play, I want to do it like in Denmark somewhere. I want to do it somewhere else. And they was like, why? I was like, yo, because where I'm from, yeah, I've been through some stuff. But there's some people who've been through some stuff. I remember telling my stories, and then nigga said, well, my mom's. I said, whoa, whoa, this is a whole nother,
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
nother
yeah,
area that,
yeah,
yo, you
yeah.
out peak my little things, right? Yeah, so it's always that,
But
man.
but what's so powerful once again, Sha, when I got locked down, when you said the rugged road to recovery came in jail, what came to me was stronger than drugs. That was the original name of my program, which is called the Urban Spirit. It was like, brother, I didn't know what I was doing until I got into a program which the brother used to call "Who Are You?" His name was Brother D, and it
Mhm,
was based on the 12 steps of recovery.
mhm.
And but I just knew because of martial arts that, bruh, martial arts is clean cut. You don't hustle. You don't sell drugs and put drugs in your body. So it's like, hold up, I got to make sure some kid don't do what I do. So look, it's funny how this happened. I see this CEO. He always in the area sitting down reading a book. I ain't know that every time he was reading the Quran and the Bible.
Mm,
So I go to the warden and tell him this great brilliant idea. He said, "Yeah, go talk to Brother D." So I'm like, man, I ain't trying. As a man, you
mm,
see a cat, he big, he ain't speaking, he quiet. You intimidated, but you ain't gonna tell nobody you intimidated. You try to like man up and act like y'all forget him. I ain't. So I had to go and talk to him, and he like, yeah, come and meet, come, let's have a meeting tonight, 8 o'clock. We gonna have a meeting, me and you, brother. The meeting was a life changing experience. It was called "Who Are You?" Excuse me for my language. With the slogan behind it was "Who are you?" You
mm,
don't even know who you are. He used to say, any man that sell drugs or use drugs and go out there looking to get high, you a prostitute. You ain't no man. You not your brother. He said stuff to me, Shyheim, where I wanted to bust him up inside. It's like, hold up, who he talking to? I was all swelled up,
Yeah,
brother. You know what I'm saying?
You part of the problem. You part
Yeah,
of the problem. There ain't no
yeah.
solution. You part of the problem, right? And that same type of thing happened to me, right? Because I had a decision to make, right? So now I'm this rapper hitting the main yard. So people attracted to that, right? Then you got, the gang culture. Then you got that. Then you got the 5%. I remember the older guys came to me. They was like, listen, there's two ways you can bid. You can bid over there with the jokers that's talking about what's going on in the town and everybody what's going on that ain't right. I mean, none of that. Or you could be a musclehead, just come out here and just work out every day, do nothing and don't work on your mind. Or you could be an intellectual. Intellectual, you take these programs, you come out here, you work out, you get your mind, body, and spirit together. But if you mess with us, you can't mess with them.
Yeah, that's right.
And then
That's right.
I started, I'm gonna start my push-ups, start coming to the yard every day. And then it was like, you'll stay away from them. Stay away from them, right? Because
Yeah,
they said, yo, you got a shot. You going home. And when you go home, you got to be our voice. We don't got no chance without you.
that's right.
And and
That's
and
right.
and then after that, I got moved from a max and they sent me to an adolescent prison. These kids is off the charts. I'm like, yo, I'm used to down. Now it's 60 kids to a dorm. Yo, the first night they jumping the kid in the sleep, cutting them, whooping them out. I'm up at night, tying my boots on. I'm in there, and I never forget it. One of the little kids came up to me. Well, he was a little kid because he was in prison, right? A young man came up to me, right?
Yeah,
And he's like, yo, you got your cousin? I'm like, yeah, yo, that's my boy. Yo, me and him, yo, we was just on the island together, blah, blah. And I was just looking at him, and I was just like, I have to be this. And then it hit me. My little cousins is in these same conditions with
yes,
like me.
yes,
I said, I have
yes.
to be what I want for my little cousin. So I
That's it.
started, so I started to look out for the young brothers and stuff like that. And hoping that I'm paying it forward that some to be somewhere and be like, yo, do the same for my little cousin. And then I got a job in the facility. I didn't want to work because I felt like
Yeah,
working for the system, right? So my
yeah.
Aiken boy from Brooklyn, his name was Bounty, right? Like Bounty Killer, of course, right? So Bounty, right? So, yo, man, yo, you want a job? I said, man, I don't work for these people. You know what I'm saying? He said, man, we get coffee every morning, the AC, we get to work out and everything. We're chilling, man. Come, apply for the job. Just come apply for the job. Um, Jamaican men are very like aggressive, right? So every day, come on, man, what you gonna wait? Life pass you by. Come on, come on. So I go up there, right? So I have the meeting with the staff or whatever. So I'm talking to him. So Brownie come back. He's like, man, I don't know what you told these people, but they was like finally somebody that of a sense. But the skills I had was the industry, talking to people, being
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
oh, this is talking, and they like, yo, he's great.
yeah.
So to make a long story short, I became the IGRC, that's grievance rep, and then I became the uh um IGRC rep, then a clerk. Then I became a clerk. That was like the highest you could be. It was like my job was to run the hearing. Like I was stenographer, explain, yo, this is what the grieving process is. And I'm sitting there with the sergeants and the lieutenants every day, right? When I got transferred because my classification dropped and I was getting closer to New York, well, I was way upstate, making it back down towards the city. At this time, I had about 5.5, almost 6 years in, and I'm on a transfer. I'm in that cell, leaving the what they call them, civilians, because they work for them, but they civilian, they're not officers. So they come down to the bullpens. I'm leaving. I'm shackled. Franklin, hey, wait here. It's an envelope. And it was like, you're gonna do great things, man. Remember us, man. Come back, shout us out, man. When whatever, whatever. But we're gonna be watching. I'm telling you, we're gonna be watching. So when I got the shit and I opened the envelope, I'm a sucker. I'm in there, my eyes were, yo, don't you know these people wrote a letter to the parole board for me? And on a prison letterhead, community, New York State community supervision on their letterhead, and was just like, yo, this describing me. Yo, I worked with Franklin for 3 years straight Frank is not biased. He's on work, respectable. Da 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 da. I promise you, if you give this guy a chance at his freedom, he won't be back. And I believe that was part of the process of getting me out because I had a hit bid. I had 7 to 14. That's a hit bid. You go up for parole 7 years, they can hit you up to 3 times. It's 7 to 9, 9 to 11, 11 to 13. That's it. They can hit you 3 times, then you see our conditional release and leave. So in my mind, I was like, yeah, that's what's gonna happen to me. But it didn't. I believe that that was that conversation that I had. And I said, yo, you give me my life back. And he started there shipping me around who I needed to influence, who I need, and how it's the trust factor that makes them trust me. Because I didn't joke with the youth. You know what I mean? I played their game because I used what I knew they wanted, right? All they wanted to do was run around, smoke their little weed, you know what I'm saying? Get their little cigarettes and, play those little games, right? And when they didn't have it, they would go around juggling. Yo, OT, let me juggle. So I'd be like, yo, I don't juggle. I said, but look, check it out. I'll give you a pack of Newports. You read this book and tell me what it's about because I don't got time to read the book, bro.
That,
So if
brother.
you could read it for me and tell me what it's about so I can save
Mhm.
some time to do something else, yo, bro, we can work together. And that started happening with one. Two, yo, go to him, bro. He got it. You get a book, I'll get a book. We get more. Let's go. So here they come with, yo, bro, let me get a book. But the beautiful thing that happened, they started to come to me when they tired. Because you can only rip and run and get high for so long. Then you got that day, couple of days when you sleeping it off. Yo, big bro, you got a book? I'm not. I don't want no. I don't want no pack. I just want something read. But then they started to become readers.
It's shot. You know what's so powerful about that? Everywhere I go today, I got 4 or 5 books. And my slogan is that why did the hell I had to go to jail to learn the truth about myself?
Mm,
Every time what brother D used to say, he say, yo, look, is my experience, and if whatever I'm telling you can't find in the factual book, then I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
mm,
And those things, brother, changed my life. And you so right. Knowledge reigns supreme over all things, brother. But what I gotta say to you, brother, when I was locked down and working out and reading, my brother brought me a Walkman. And still to this day, if you ask my wife, I only trained to Walkmans with a Walkman and a cassette.
mm,
I would have Shyheim. I would have Poor Righteous Teacher. I would have KRS-One. I would have Cool Mo D. I would have conscious rap music that was feeding the belief that I am God. I'm not preaching religion or nothing, but I had to believe, like Brother D said, the Bible says that you were created in the image of God. So where does God live? It's an inside out job, not an outside in.
yeah, yeah.
One time he told me, he said, I remember I was in I was like a assistant to the ministry that came in.
Mm,
And every time the minister, because once you ask God to guide you, you open up for you just like a little kid on a thirst for knowledge. So every time he would say something and I was curious about it, I would go to Brother D, and Brother D say, well, look it up in the Webster's dictionary. And what does Webster say? So I would look it up, and it would be conflict with what the guy was saying that was, in the ministry.
yeah.
He said, now go back and ask him and show him what the book say. He said, but here's what I'm going to tell you. Watch his emotional and physical reaction about you bringing that truth that you as a newbie discovered because you at pure at heart. Brother, they kicked me out of service because I was just asking the question.
Yeah.
Right?
Your light disturbs their darkness. That's another thing I had to go through, right? Because I always call it the making of a slave, right? So like you talking about, I said, yeah, it's the making of a slave. It's like they give you something, then they take it, and then want you to come beg for it. If you don't beg for it, then they whip you and try to whip you in front of everybody and say, yo, if you don't follow suit, this is what's gonna happen to you. Right? And you wondering why, like, you adding on, you there to add on, right? Even in that situation, you was there to add on to whatever was in the book that you trying to show him, but he looking at it as you trying to upstage him and know more than he know. Who are you to know more than me? Who are you to be able to be the next, right? Because in the physical world is one thing, but the spiritual world is another. And I've come to understand that I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. So everything that I'm going through, I signed up to come here, but all I have to do is remember what I'm here to do. And sometimes we lose focus on what our calling, trying to fit in with other people's calling. And sometimes you got to come to the fork of the road and then do this.
And look at that, shot. Look how God brought us together. The rugged road of recovery.
Oh, I
The stronger than drugs. Talk to me, brother.
I'm so hyped because when I announced like, yo, I'm like, cause I always been not like that part of it. Like, I do my little workout, I do my little push-up, right? But I haven't been trained. I haven't been able to be a machine. And I'm like, yo, and I always brag, always talk, and you are highly respected in your field, right? Highly, right? And so some dudes that are in it that I know more than me, and they're like, oh man, whoa, yo, and I'm like, yeah, I think I want to train. And it was like, yo, if Willie Bam Johnson trade you, Cheyenne, and you take off your shirt, you know what I mean? They're gonna want you to be a model. You gotta look the look. You gotta get there, right? And I'm like, oh, and here you go again, right? And I'll be like, this is what I asked for, right? Best you could be, right? You ask, yo, you want your life back? This is your life. Your life, it's the
Yeah.
mind, body, and soul.
Mind, body, and soul, brother.
So he blessed me with all the elements that I'm gonna need, right? And the last one was pretty much my physical and mental, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited, man.
I'm loving it, brother, because I get a chance to be with my hero, now my brother. And for any kid, that's what the warrior mindset is. Vision, brother. Faith. Believing in the unseen. You could feel it, you could touch it, you can't see it, but you could feel it. And look at what manifests, brother. It's like sometimes you could be listening to something, putting the pictures up, and for anybody out there, I don't care what nobody say, put the pictures up on the wall. You know what I'm saying? Listen to the music. Watch the movies over and over, because one day you might end up being right there with a person that inspired you. With man, I just gotta say this, man, because it's real. For whatever dark moment you was going through, when I was trying to find myself without even knowing you like I know you now, your music inspired me to want more. You know what I'm saying, brother? So whatever you was feeling when you was spitting that truth in that studio and shouting out them bars as a little kid, you was helping adults and everybody. Forget the fame.
Yeah.
But the man that you are right now, brother, I am grateful to call you my brother, man.
Thank you. Likewise, bro. Likewise. We locked in. And this is one thing that I really admire about you, man, because like, with things like abandonment issues and things like that you deal with, right? Sometimes we could be like standoffish or not as responsive, right? And it might be taken as, oh, this person BSing or whatever. But you took the time to stay on me, right? And I kind of was hoping you didn't, right? I kind of was like, oh yeah, he'll be another one of these guys, right? He didn't get what he wanted the first 2 months we was chilling, right, and building, right? So he's out, right? Just like, yeah, whatever. But here you go, I'm like, all right, Willie Bam again. And then I would lose the phone, and here comes Willie Bam again. I said, yo, you know what? Listen, and yo, and thank you for that, my brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Cause I need it, right? I need it, man.
And I need it, brother.
Word, man.
Think about it on the streets. Look, I represent what true loyalty is, man. I always say that in everything that I do. You can't fire. I ain't gonna fire nobody. And guess what? You ain't getting rid of me, brother. You inspired me. How I'm gonna let something good go? I can't. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the warrior mindset is. It's about staying connected. When we as warriors stay connected, who you are and what you represent not just inspires me, but the next generation. I'm just honored again, once again, brother, to have you on the podcast for all the young kids. And think about this. We talked about you, the man. Forget all the fame. And that's what all the kids want to know about, the fame. They want the bling. They want the cars. That's a byproduct of what the truth is.
Yeah.
And if you can tell them what that deep-rooted truth is for them, right? Hey, this is what I'm going to hit you with, Shy. Brother D told me in jail, he said, look, brother, you got a kid right now. He about ready to end it all. You got less than 30 seconds to say something to make him choose life over death, or hustle, or jail over just living. What would you say to him, Shy?
I would tell him good times end just as well as bad times. It's a moment. It's gonna come, it's gonna go. So live in the moment and enjoy it, right? Because the worst thing you want to do, right, is like I have moments you can ask me about, and I couldn't tell you nothing about it besides being there. Because I wasn't smelling the roses. I wasn't looking at the beautiful lawns. I wasn't looking at the trees. I wasn't walking through it, looking at it and taking it and embracing. I was just too busy walking through. So
Yeah.
I missed a lot, even the bad times. So I would say when the bad times, embrace those bad times because it's to tell you the good times is coming. And in the good times, embrace those good times because you know it's not going to be forever and prepare for the bad times on the good times. That's why when it's peace, prepare for war.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when war, prepare for peace. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? And that's really it. And I tell them all the time, you know, when I go into facilities and stuff, I'm not here to convince you, Jack, because guess what? They got three hots in a cot. And the thing is, their turnaround rate is so quick. I have somebody sleeping next to me. He packs up, he's gone within 30 minutes from him leaving. Someone else is moving in there.
Yeah. You know, it's funny that, and I go hold you up, but and as we close, this is one thing, and this is like a stereotype where everybody, when I'm writing movies, doing stories, they always talk about, tell me about the fights. Shy, from what you talked about, you avoided the fights. You ain't trying to get hemmed up and get more time in jail. The squash that stigma where everybody got to be fighting and shanking and cutting.
Well, it's
Talk to me on that.
it's the lifestyle, right? And everything is ran, right? So of course, right, in prison, there's a drug trade. So there's certain people, right, of rightfully so, the people that's probably never going home and probably the head of the gangs that's never going home controls that. So when you see this stuff and you see these stabbings and you see these brutal attacks, it's usually over those things. It's usually over somebody either getting the drugs and ain't sharing, bought some drugs and owes it, right? This, that, and the third, right? It's all around those negativity things, right? Homosexuality, someone is messing with someone else and shouldn't be messing, right? Gambling, right? These are all the things you shouldn't even be doing anyway. You should be ridding yourself about. If you involved in those things, guarantee you're gonna get stabbed, you're gonna get beat up. But if you go in places like the law library, you going to see a program, you going to the gym to work out, right? You're doing everything that everybody's trying to avoid. You ain't gonna have no traffic. Take the route where there's less cars. If all the idiots is over, I'm taking this route, right? When I was away, right, dudes thought I was crazy because I changed in front of their eyes, right? So I stopped ordering the Source magazine. I stopped ordering double XL and straight
Yeah.
starting looking at the girls, and I started getting the journal, Bloomberg's Newsweek. I started getting GQ magazine, right? And I started to cut out trench coats and briefcases, and I got this on my in a cube. You get a picture board, and I'm putting
Vision board, the vision board, right? It's a vision board.
so I'm putting houses, cars, ties, and I'll never forget it. We was having a family festival, right? So your family could come up and you could wear. Everybody, Joe, I'm wearing my Timbs down. I was like, yo, I want a pair of boat shoes, right?
Yeah.
Some nice boat
Yeah.
shoes with the two
Yeah.
boom, nice. Got a nice polo one. Man, when I wore those down on that visit with those greens, yo, it caused chicks were saying to their man, "Damn, babe, I want you to get something like that." You see, I do with those. I said, "Oh, this is a hit." Then when I got out. I was dressed up because I went to parole. I said every time I go into parole, this is how they're gonna see me. I'm going looking for a job interview. This is it. This is it. And I'm walking down the street. Now, mind you, I've been hopped out on many times, police. I'm walking, there's a couple dudes with hoodies on, and we're walking. I'm not with them or nothing, but I got on my little briefcase. I'm moving. They hopped out, they grabbed everybody but me. No, no, not you. Should keep moving. I said, oh, I could have had Bro, I could have had everything on me, but the fact that I didn't look the look that I supposed to look, I had on a tie, a briefcase, a trench coat. I could have had a hammer on. I could have had a kilo in that. But they don't identify the person that looked like that for that activity, so you're good.
That's it. So, brother, once again, man, what a great way to even bring this to a close. And maybe every kid that's getting ready to go to court in one of our attempts, and his pants down off his
Not
butt.
a good idea. And listen, and this is something I do with my program, Rugged Road to Recovery, right? Before we check out, right? I do things like manicures and pedicures with them. They think it's gay. Ew, 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 right? But once they take that big toenail and get it clipped, then they put their foot in their sneaker again. They be like, yo, my feet feel lighter. Yeah, because you carry around 10 pounds of nails in your foot, right? And teach them to go get tailored, right? Because if you go for a job, they know you got on your uncle's suit, bro.
That's right.
They know people who get suits, get it fitted. It's supposed to fit a certain way. So it's about showing the young brothers what to do more so than just telling them. And that's what I tell people all the time. Everybody tired of someone telling them. Show me how.
Yeah. Yeah.
Show me how to do it, because don't assume I know how to do it. And don't just, you know what I'm saying? Show me. And then once I know how to do it, I'll show somebody else. There was a brother by the name of Dr. Fuller. A great brother, man. And he and I get the coin, I get the phrase from him. Each one teach 10. If each one teach 10, we'll be all right.
That's right. And that goes back to the concept that I told you, the 1 out of 100, man. Brother D said only one of y'all gonna make it. But look, brother, you plant those seeds. We got it. The program always said that in order to keep it, we got to give it away, right?
Yeah.
That's it, brother.
Yeah.
So my brother, man, I love you,
Me
man.
too, bro. We got to set up so when I can come down there, man. Let's get that in effect. So I can come down there. We do some community events. Let's get on the road. Let's do this documentary. Let's do these movies. Let's get rolling. Let's do it. Let's set it up. Let's go.
Let's do it. Get the people some contact, how they can get in contact with the Rugged Road of Recovery and Shyheim. Talk to me, brother.
All right. So first of all, Instagram, right? Because everyone's on Instagram and TikTok. So Instagram, my handle is Shyheim_rugged. That's SHYHEIM_RUGGED. My TikTok handle is Shyheim_ SHYHEIM_. For the Rugged Road to Recovery, the hashtag is #RR2R, and the website is ISO360.org. And yeah, man, hit me up.
We got you, brother. And we make sure we get that out to the people. I'm gonna hit you up during the week. Much love. And great weekend to you and the family,
Yo,
bro.
I want to snapshot this picture real quick from the fall so I can post it and be like, yeah, look, guess what? I'm about to punch your head off. I'm about to be trained by Willie Bam. Yeah, I'm about to get your head punched off. Got it. Love.
We good?
Yeah, got it.